NFL quarterbacks are the most important position for an NFL team. So far, through a quarter of the way into the NFL season, we have to rank the top 10 performers. I'm basing it off of just this season, so no previous seasons will be involved. And if guys later in the season start to break out, then they might be included later. But this is just my list as of now, October 5th, 2024. Real quick, a couple of honorable mentions. Shout out to CJ Stroud. Shout out to Brock Purdy. And shout out to Aaron Rodgers. They're not going to make my top 10 because I feel like there's 10 guys that have played better, but they are close to making it. Starting off at number 10, we have Justin Fields. Fields with the Steelers is 3-1. He's gotten better every game. In his lone loss against the Indianapolis Colts was his best game as a Pittsburgh Steeler. I think if you're the Steelers right now, it's almost no question that you start Fields, even if Russell Wilson is back, which I think he will be soon. I would start Fields. There's just more upside. There's more that the offense can do. So Fields is going to check in at the 10 spot. Not to mention his team is 3-1. So the record does have a little bit of a factor in it as well. Number 9 is going to be Joe Burrow. And real quickly, guys, I'm not putting Patrick Mahomes on the list if you are curious. And I will explain why after I talk about Joe Burrow. So Joe Burrow is up here besides the 1-3 record. That's why he's kind of down. But he's been really efficient this year. The offense over the last couple games has improved a ton. Let's not forget that they were 1 point away from beating the Chiefs. They were a couple points away from beating the Bengals. And they just beat the Panthers by 10. That looked better with Andy Dalton. Joe Burrow is getting Jamar Chase the ball a lot. T. Higgins has been quiet this year with Joe Burrow, but I expect that connection to start igniting later in the year. And you really can't blame Joe Burrow for any of the losses. He's playing really good. He's playing really efficient. He's getting his first downs. The defense has just kind of sold. So I can't really blame Joe Burrow for that. But I am going to put him at 9 because there's just 8 quarterbacks that I see above him right now. Number 8, sorry. I got Geno Smith. And like I said about Mahomes, I'm not going to put him on my list because he's been pretty inefficient this year. Not to mention he hurt his best guy, Rashee Rice. Obviously, that doesn't lower his ranking. I'm just saying that's not going to help him the rest of the year. And even though they're 4-0, the Chiefs, they just haven't really looked great in any game, in my opinion. So I'm not going to put him in the top 10 for this season. And if you're mad about it, I'm sorry, but it's just how my list is going. So yeah, 8 is Geno Smith. Against the Lions, almost 400 yards. Game was closer than the score said. Geno Smith has been playing really good. The first 3 games were against weaker opponents. So we can't fully look into that and be like, oh, he's the MVP. In their lone tough opponent, the Detroit Lions, they did lose, but it was pretty close. So I do have faith in the Seahawks team, led by Geno, to continue to improve. And not to mention, Geno is top 5 in passing. So that obviously is going to elevate his ranking as well. Number 7 is Lamar Jackson. It's kind of funny how Lamar Jackson, who's number 8, is number 7, and Geno Smith, who's number 7, is number 8. That's kind of confusing. Anyway, Lamar Jackson checks in at number 7. He's playing really good, especially in the last 2 games against the Bills and Cowboys, who are supposed to be contenders. He's actually been really, really good this season. He's using his legs well. He's mainly just giving it to Derrick Henry, though, so it's not a lot of designed runs. But when he scrambles, it has looked really good so far this season. And I'm happy for Lamar. The Ravens were off to an 0-2 start. It was going to get scary in Baltimore, but there's no need to worry now. They've arrived as true title contenders. Number 6 is Kirk Cousins. He was going to be lower, if not on the list. But then the 500-yard game that he had elevated him to where he's at now against the Buccaneers, who have a good defense. Let's not forget that they held the Eagles to 0 yards in the first quarter in week 4. So Kirk Cousins gets a big boost. Played so good against the Bucs. He had a nice comeback to win the game drive against the Eagles a couple weeks ago. And he's just getting better. He's learning these offensive guys more. He's getting Drake London, Kyle Pitts involved. Once Bijan can unlock the run game more as well, this Falcons team is going to be scary. Number 5 is Josh Allen. He was in my top 3 until after week 4, and then he fell a little bit. He had some great plays against the Ravens in week 4, but I feel like the Bills have benefited from an easy schedule so far. We saw what they might actually look like against good teams in that Ravens game. I've never been massive on Josh Allen. He's still a top 5 quarterback in the league, like just in general as a ranking. But for this season, besides the first 3 games, which were pretty easy opponents, the Cardinals aren't a pushover. Jags are 0-4. But the Ravens, your first title contending team that they played, they got blown out. So I kind of have to hold that against Allen to a degree. Number 4 is Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield playing like an MVP candidate right now. His Bucs just lost to the Falcons and Kirk Cousins, but that is not his fault. He played so good against the Falcons. He's playing really good football besides the Broncos game. And I think the Bucs have a realistic shot to go deep in the playoffs with Baker Mayfield at the helm. So Baker Mayfield, he's a top 5 quarterback this season. Number 3 is Jayden Daniels. As a Bears fan, this pains me to put him here because we could have drafted him. And I'm not on that train yet. I need to see at least one full season before I'm like, we should have taken this guy instead of this guy. But Jayden Daniels, he looks the part. He's playing like the part right now. One of the most efficient quarterbacks, if not the most efficient quarterback in the league. Torched the Cardinals, torched the Bengals. And he's arrived. You can't take that away from him. He has fully arrived in all of his Commanders' glory. As long as he doesn't get hurt like RG3, him in this offense should reach new heights like they've never seen before. Number 2 is Jared Goff. Jared Goff against the Seahawks. 18 of 18. Perfect. Genuinely, actually perfect game from him. And a receiving touchdown. He played better than perfect. There's not really too much else to say besides that game showing what Jared Goff is. He didn't have the best 2-game start to the season, but him and this Lions team have kicked it up 5 notches since the Rams game in week 1. And now, your number 1 quarterback. You may have noticed how I've been putting these guys into the tier list, but it is Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold and the Vikings are 4-0. Now, compared to Patrick Mahomes, one guy has a 4-0 team because he's been playing like the MVP frontrunner. One guy has a 4-0 team that he's been getting bailed out by the refs and has an elite defense. I'm kind of joking a bit there, but Sam Darnold has looked 1,000 times better than his undefeated predecessor, Patrick Mahomes. I'm really happy for Sam Darnold. I think he's a really cool guy. He seems chill. That doesn't have to do with his quarterback ranking. He's leading the league in passing, percentages, all of the stats are up there for him. His team is dominating contenders like the Texans and the 49ers, the Packers as well. And right now, Sam Darnold is the best quarterback in the league. Now, that is going to be it for me, everyone. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm going to make this intro quick because my throat is hurting a lot from talking. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to see more NFL content, make sure to drop a like, subscribe if you're new. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.